Does anyone like the new intro? Because I don't, and the reason why is not because of the new content we get in the new intro. It is because, first of all, I don't understand the song. Second of all, if I don't understand the song, it must sound good to me, and it doesn't either, right? I actually think the previous intro was actually good, and I think the previous intro was the best intro out of all the intros that we've had so far. And in terms of outro, I don't really like outros anyways, because the outros are not really as exciting as the intros, right? So yeah, that's my personal preference, but I want to know yours in the comments. I want to know if you think this intro is better, or the outro that we got with it as well is better. But personally, I don't like both of them that we just got in this episode. But yeah, so let's talk about a few characters in this episode, okay? Let's talk about Zetsu, because Zetsu is still alive, or the white Zetsus are still alive, right? I remember somewhere in the novels there was a character who didn't specifically say that all the Zetsus were, you know, gone. I remember it was one of the novels, I think it was the Sasuke novel, I think so, that I think a Kage or someone of importance actually said that some of the Zetsus, or most of the Zetsus of the war, had been taken down. But the way they said it, right, the way they phrased it, made it seem like there were still some of these Zetsus, or some of these, you know, Zetsus out there. And the thing is, I wasn't necessarily sure whether they phrased it that way for a reason, right, to hint at us that there are still some Zetsus out there alive, or maybe they were just referring to Kaguya's entire army of Zetsus just being destroyed. Like, it wasn't really specific, but it did leave a few things for interpretation, that these Zetsus were still alive out there somewhere, or at least some of them were still out there. So it turns out that, you know, they are still out there, as we saw in the previous episode and this episode actually. And these Zetsus are actually different. They actually have lightning style and fire style and wind style. I don't remember Zetsu using any of these, but they have they are basically made of wood, right? And they used to be humans, so I think that they adopted either the elements of the humans, or because they are wood, right, or they can use wood style, then they automatically should be able to use water style, and they should be able to use earth style, right? At least that is what I was thinking. I want to know your thoughts in the comments about how these Zetsus can actually use jutsu and the rest didn't, because if the Zetsus of the war actually used jutsu, that would have been a huge game changer, and a lot of the Shinobi Alliance would have been dead, actually, if you think about it. But the Zetsus never used anything except wood style, and just trying to hang people, right? Try to look like, or pretend to be like, people. This Zetsu is definitely stronger than the previous ones, because they merged together, and it actually reminds me of I remember Naruto fought a few Zetsus that I think merged together or something, and then he used a mini Rasenshuriken to take them all out. Something around those ends. I remember Zetsus merging before. So Zetsu's still alive, right? And it turns out that this Zetsu is actually the survivor of a whole batch which still survived, and there are still a few remnants of the tree left, right? I think this cave is actually one of the many caves that Kaguya Otsutsuki was, you know, using as weaponry in order to counter Momoshiki and Kinshiki, right? And Urashiki as well, now that he is in the equation. But the question is, what was Zetsu's gonna do to Momoshiki, Kinshiki, and Urashiki? I mean, Momoshiki could easily absorb all jutsus, right? So if all the Zetsus actually used like lightning style or something, Momoshiki could easily absorb that and return that favor, like tenfold or something like that. So it's like the whole gathering of the army of Zetsus was pretty much useless, because Momoshiki will just destroy them in a few seconds, right? And Kinshiki can also slice through a lot of things, so he can easily land in a horde of Zetsus and just slice them all up in a few seconds. Like, it wouldn't really make any difference. So let's talk about Konohamaru in this episode. So far, I think that people are giving Konohamaru a little bit more credit than he actually deserves in terms of his strength, okay? And I'm not bashing the character, I'm just being realistic here. I'm not a hater. I don't really have a favorite character, okay? I just like to enjoy the show as it is, based on what these characters do. I don't have a favorite character. But I think, based on Konohamaru's performance in the manga and in the anime, he is not as strong as people actually think he is. Like, people actually thought that he had Sage Mode, or he learned some kind of secret jutsu, and he does have some really impressive fire style skills. But so far, in terms of his ability to handle a zetsu, Naruto would have done it in a few seconds. Rock Lee would have definitely handled it in a few seconds, and a few of these other legendary ninja out there who don't necessarily have humongous power would have been able to deal with zetsus. Sakura even will be able to take out this zetsu with one punch, right? So I don't know why Konohamaru was struggling with this one, except the only difference is that this zetsu could use jutsus, right? So all I'm saying is, I think Konohamaru has just the strength of a regular shinobi kind of thing. Like, he would easily come off or pass off as fodder at this point, because based on his performances, he is not doing as well as a special ninja would be. He's just doing it as a normal or ordinary ninja would be. So I don't think we have to expect much from Konohamaru unless he really gets serious and to that point. How the Zetsu got actually defeated in this episode was kind of lame to me. I expected him to actually land a big Rasengan, but then again, they were in a cave, right? And they don't want the cave to cave in on them. So it is better to, you know, attack the Zetsu with light attacks and all that kind of stuff. So I think maybe being in the cave kind of hindered their ability to attack the Zetsu, right? Now let's talk about Boruto, because he gets a lot of development in this episode, and the development he gets, we know, will actually amount to something, and I think that's what the series has been lacking, right? Development actually going on into further arcs to incite something. So in this episode, Boruto gets the self-doubt because he thought, okay, you know what, we've organized this plan and we need to carry it out, and I think he needed to deal the final blow, but he wasn't able to do that because he thought his strength was not enough, and that is key because of what he's about to do in the future of days to come, right? So he thinks his strength is not good enough. He has self-doubt, right? And obviously he thinks about Katasuke and the ninja tool that he got, which actually helped him in his battle. And I think Boruto is turning out to be like Sasuke, but he's looking or seeking for power, right? Which is basically the direction which Sasuke went in. And it's kind of funny how Boruto is a combination of Naruto and Sasuke, right? And he has Sasuke's abilities and Naruto's way of thinking. But in this episode, they set up a plot for him where he's looking for power because he doubts his own, right? So he's gonna look for that, and all the people who have actually seen the movie know what is about to happen, right? So that is the setup for Boruto, and basically what we get to see in the episode is Amaterasu, right? There is one thing that doesn't make sense. It has been stated that Amaterasu can burn for 7 days, 7 nights straight, right? So it is either Sasuke has been on his journey taking down these Zetsus, right, from a very, very long time ago, right, and the Amaterasu is still burning, or he came there recently and he basically destroyed all the Zetsu, causing one to try to escape, and that's how this whole entire accident happened, right? But the question is, if Sasuke did that, why didn't he report back to Naruto that there is a Kaguya related, you know, cave at that specific location? Like, he failed to do that. Maybe he stumbled there, and then what he did is he took out all the Zetsu except one, because that must have slipped his mind, and then maybe from there he just went into the portal, and then he came into one of Kaguya's dimensions. Or it's not necessarily Kaguya's dimension, it's just a dimension which Kaguya has basically conquered, right, with the castle in it. I think that is basically what happened, because it is impossible for Amaterasu to burn for like years, right? It burns for a few days and it just, you know, goes down. So definitely Sasuke has been there recently, okay, and he hasn't reported back to Naruto. I think he just went into the dimension and then collect all the information and then return to Naruto, right? And in this episode, actually, at the end, we actually see him you know, get to the other dimension of Kaguya, and I'm excited because Momoshiki and Kinshiki can actually see this guy, right? And I actually still need to make my video about this whole fight scene that's about to occur with him and Kinshiki, right? So right now I got a few questions, okay? So in the movie, right, Boruto actually stated that he can use water style, okay? So if that is the case, then he better learn water style right now, okay? Because the arc has already started and this guy basically said, yo, I know how to use water style. So I think at the end of this whole ordeal, right, he will actually learn water style. They are supposed to get a mission about a panda, right, or a bear. It's basically a bear which looks like a panda, which is dangerous, right? And I think before then he must have learned how to use water style. Another question is, who did he learn it from, right? And also I want to see why Sarada actually likes Boruto, because in the movie she seems to have a crush on him, right? So I want to know what kind of thing or events within these missions actually led to that kind of thing, because she really hasn't shown any like affection for him kind of thing. So I want to know whether they are going with that or they are trying to do something completely original, because apparently the manga is connected to the anime, and in the manga she actually does show affection for Boruto. So by association, if you put 2 and 2 together, that is supposed to happen. So I think it's kind of too late to do that, and they should have done it like a few arcs ago, right? Developed the whole thing instead of rushing everything. But yeah, they do kind of tend to do that. They skip training sessions, they skip Boruto learning his new jutsus and all that kind of stuff. So I think these things are like essential for the fans to know, instead of getting episodes about freaking snot no jutsu and all that kind of nonsense. Like, I think it's important for us to see Boruto put in effort in his jutsus and see his development as a character, because training really is important and we need to know his progress and his struggle, right? Except from that, this episode was okay. I think it's a stepping stone for what's about to happen. So I think it gets good from the next episode, because we see Toneri there, and I think he's probably gonna come up to Boruto and, you know, talk or something like that. I know he definitely doesn't warn anyone, because if that was the case, then they would have known about Momoshiki and Kinshiki before they even came to the Chunin exam, right? So yeah, I think Toneri's just gonna make an appearance and just talk shit about his prophecy, and probably just faint, because he gets all emotional when these cracks appear, and then, you know, he stops these cracks. So yeah, that's it for Toneri. But yeah, that has been it for this review. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm trying to get back in the loop of things and make videos and all that kind of stuff, because I really had a bad week. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the review. I am officially back and I will be making videos like I normally did. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below about my review. Let me know your thoughts about the Amaterasu, right? I want to know what you think about Konohama's strength, because at the moment he's really not showing to be an elite Jonin. It looks like his entire team can take him out by themselves. And I want to know what you think about Zetsu being there, and why do you think Zetsu can actually use lightning and you know, wind and fire, right? I want to know that. And what are your thoughts on why these Zetsus are able to use it and the rest weren't in the war? With that being said, I have nothing more to say. Enjoy the rest of your day, and bye.